Hello guys and welcome back to another video. In today's video, my friends, we are going to be testing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on an RX 6600 GPU. Now let's go over the system specs. I'm using a Ryzen 5 3600 and 24 gigabytes of DDR4 3200 MHz RAM and a Gigabyte RX 6600 which is not overclocked in any way. I've just underclocked the GPU a little bit just to keep the temperatures in check. And yeah, so let's head right into the settings here. I'm going to be using 1080p first at experimental settings. This is the maximum that this game can go. Experimental settings are still very new to the game. So yeah, the game is also very new. So you know, we're going to be testing it out today. First of all, let's go over the advanced graphics settings. When you set experimental settings in your other settings, yeah, like I showed you before, you get all of these settings at experimental, which is the maximum the game can go. Okay, so let's go into the game. This is the city area. This is not the start of the game. At the start of the game, you get somewhat a little bit more performance, I would say, than what you're getting right here. Although we are getting very VRAM bound right now. We're at 8.1 gigabytes of VRAM usage. Let's start counting the frames here, and as you guys can see, we're at 25 FPS. Not very nice. Considering this game is a first-person game, and you will be experiencing a lot of input lag when you are at lower frame rates. And as soon as I'm going out, you can see that with a lot of vegetation and stuff on the screen, your frame rate also drops to like 15 FPS, which our 1% lows are just showing here. So yeah, the game is looking very good in my opinion. The Kingdom Come Deliverance, the first one, is also very nice. It also looked nice, but this is a little step further than that, I would say. Like not much further in terms of graphical quality. There is a lot more vegetation, I would say, in this game. Clear vegetation in this game, but the last one also looked very good. So let's go ahead now. We got 23 FPS average. I want to just see if we enable FSR here, what happens. So let's do this. Alright, so FSR has been applied. Seems like we need to restart the game, as I see that the GPU usage is not towards the maximum. So I will be restarting the game and I'll be right back with you guys. Alrighty guys, so I've just went ahead and restarted the game with FSR on quality. As you guys can see right here in the settings, FSR is on quality. I don't know which FSR version it is, because it doesn't mention here that which FSR they've implemented into the game. Alright, it might be at least FSR 2. Yeah, that's just a guess basically. So we're still at experimental settings and FSR 2 on quality. Previously we were dropping from 30 FPS. Now you guys might be wondering, how did I actually know to restart the game? And whenever you change settings in any game, what happens is, if you see that your game is performing at a level, you know, if your game is actually using system resources at a level like 90% of GPU is being utilized at a setting, and while playing the game you change the settings, and what happens is your GPU usage drops to 70% after applying new settings. That means that either you ran into a system bottleneck at those settings, or your settings didn't get applied properly. So at that point, what the first thing you should do is to restart the game. And if it fixes your GPU usage, like if it gets it to back to 90%, that means this game has issues. Then that means that game has issues with the settings application, and you need to restart the game with every setting you change whenever you change it. So if you observe that after even restarting the game, the GPU is still being underutilized at those settings, that means that setting which you applied was a CPU intensive setting. That means you ran into a CPU bottleneck because your GPU is being underutilized. Okay, so I hope I'm making sense here. This is just a little bit of a tidbit for you guys, just to know that when you should be restarting the game and when you should be not restarting the game whenever applying new settings. So as you guys can see right now, I'm at 99% GPU usage. GPU usage can also be seen while looking at your power usage. As you guys can see, my power usage is at close to 80 watts, which is not maximum, mind you. My maximum for this GPU is 100 watts, okay? So 100 watts should be the reading that I should be seeing from my side. But I can also see that my CPU usage is at 57%. This can be also, as I've restarted the game already, this can also be an issue now with VRAM, because VRAM, as you guys can see, is also at 8 gigabytes and CPU usage is also at 50%. So both of those things should be the thing that is actually holding back the GPU, because my GPU usage or GPU wattage is at 80 watts. Okay. MSI Afterburner doesn't actually show you the correct reading for your GPU usage. You need to see the wattage of your GPU, your maximum wattage, and compare it to the wattage that is being utilized at one point. You know, like I'm getting 30 FPS right now, and my wattage is at 79, 78 watts, 83 watts. So that means there is still about 20% headroom for my GPU to be utilized more. So if I had more VRAM, which is not possible for this GPU to have, or if I had more CPU, whichever the case is, in this case, VRAM is more likely, but I would say that CPU could also be the case here. If I had one of those things more, I'd be getting more performance. So yeah, this is just some little tidbits for you guys just to see. Also, my RAM usage is at 23 gigabytes. Oh my god, that means that we are very much VRAM bound right now at experimental settings. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be lowering down the settings, and I'm going to be going to ultra settings, and I'm going to be restarting the game, and I'll be right back with you guys. Alrighty guys, we are back, and we've spawned in the same area, and as you guys can see the settings right here. Let me see if they've applied. Yeah, ultra settings, full screen mode, and we are not using any FSR. Okay, so let's go into the game. And as soon as I've changed the settings without any FSR, we're still using SMA82TX, and we're still at 8 gigabytes of VRAM usage. Although my GPU usage has a little bit improved, like it's at 90 watts now, so 10% more usage, and it's still dropping into the 80 watts. But yeah, when I'm changing my camera a lot, it's happening, but it's happening lesser. And my FPS has also gone up to 40 FPS, which is nice. This is one of the areas in the game which is very intensive. When I started playing the game, we were at a different spot. There were a lot of characters there. I tried recording the video there, but somehow my OBS didn't record everything, and I had to record the video again. So I'm doing it again. So here you see that we are getting like 34 FPS average. Let's start counting the frames again. And now FPS have improved a lot at this spot. We're at 90 watts of GPU usage, which is close to maximum. Very good. And our CPU is at 57%, which is also very good. So yeah, ultra settings, you could play it. I mean, ultra settings still look very good compared to experimental settings. They're still very nice looking. We're performance is close to 40 FPS, and yeah, it's smooth and it looks good also. So let's go ahead now and apply FSR. Alright guys, so FSR has been applied, as you guys can see right here in the settings. Full screen, ultra, FSR on quality. Alright, so now let's go ahead and check out the game here. On FSR in this game, I can see the vegetation kind of looks blurry when it moves. I don't know if you're able to make it out or not, but this looks very, very blurry when I'm moving the camera around. So I think this is still FSR 2.1 or something. This is not FSR 3. And yeah, so although our performance has improved, I would say like 10 FPS more. I'm going to be starting the frame count again, and 55 FPS average. Let's move it towards this spot, and let's try running. And our FPS is dropping into the 40s, lower 40s, but let's see if we drop from 40 FPS, which we were dropping before. 48 FPS average. Now we're going higher. So yeah, this is a very good benchmark run here. Yeah, we dropped from 40 FPS. From 40 FPS went to 39. I saw 39 there. So yeah, 90 watts of GPU usage still, which is nice, and about 50 FPS, I would say 49 FPS average is a very good sweet spot. If this game had frame generation and and FSR 3.1, that would be really great. But yeah, you can always ask for more in these games, you know. But this is a very good engine. It's CryEngine, and CryEngine performs better than Unreal Engine in my opinion. Unreal Engine has a lot of issues with traversal stutter and stuff, which every game these days has, which comes on Unreal Engine, and them using CryEngine for these games is really nice. Alright, let's go ahead now and let's go to high settings, and I'll be right back after restarting the game. Alrighty guys, we are back and I've just restarted the game. We are at high settings preset, as you guys can see right here, and we are not using an FSR on quality or whatever. Okay, so as soon as I go in high settings, I can notice the difference in performance from 40 to 50 FPS, from 40 to 60 FPS. This is very smooth now, and let's start counting the frames again. Wow, this is really nice. And my GPU usage is also increased to about 100%. And I'm still at 8 gigabytes of VRAM usage. My memory usage decreased when I applied ultra settings, which I forgot to mention. Previously we were using about 24 gigabytes, which is a maximum my system has, but right now we're at 21 gigabytes of VRAM usage, system RAM usage, and 8 gigabytes of VRAM usage. So 60 FPS average currently. Let's try running from here. When we look at this spot, usually the frame rate drops, but now it's in the 60s. Looks like we've alleviated some of the bottleneck with the VRAM, and at high settings we are close to 60 FPS, which is amazing. I forgot to mention also that, guys, I'm always using the latest graphics driver for every game that launches. I'm using 25.1.1, which is the latest by AMD at this point of recording of this video. So yeah, 99 watts of GPU usage, which is amazing. Like, my GPU is being utilized. The maximum temperatures are still in check, 73 degrees Celsius at hotspot temperatures. 60 degrees Celsius is my GPU normal temperature, so these are really nice. Previously in a lot of videos, what happened was I'd have issues with my GPU temperatures, and I didn't clean out my PC for a year, and now I've cleaned it out, and it feels a lot better, like 60 degrees Celsius on my GPU. Amazing. And also CPU 67 degrees, which is really nice. So yeah, 60 FPS average, amazing performance. Let's go ahead and apply FSR now, and let's see how it performs. Alrighty guys, we are back and we have applied high settings and FSR at quality. Previously we were getting 60 FPS, but as soon as I go back into the game here, you guys can see we're getting close to 80 FPS. Amazing performance. And my CPU is kind of going higher. It's at 68% now. Previously when we started at experimental settings, you know that we got like 55% CPU usage. Now CPU usage is getting a lot higher, 67% CPU usage now, so 70% now. Wow. And our GPU usage is still in the 90 watts. I also saw a drop which came with a stutter, so I think that was due to a stutter. And 86, 88 watts now. So it seems like we are kind of running into a CPU bottleneck now. So yeah, so you could use ultra settings with FSR at quality. Doesn't look very bad and also performs really good. If you guys want to get more than 60 FPS all of the times, then you guys should use high settings with FSR at quality, and you're gonna get like 77 FPS average. So let's now go ahead and decrease settings further. Let's go to medium, and I'll be right back after restarting the game. Alrighty guys, we are back at 1080p medium settings preset, and FSR is disabled right now. Alright, so let's go ahead into the game. Let's start counting the frames here, and now I can see the difference in vegetation and stuff. It's a lot different. Textures kind of look like very outdated, you know. So I think high settings are the sweet spot in this case. If you guys want to play at native res— what the heck was that? So it was a huge stutter that I just encountered. Okay, so when you are when you want to use actually higher settings, I think you should be using ultra settings with FSR on quality, or high settings native, and you can get kind of a 60 FPS experience in my opinion, and that would look nice. It would performs nice. This kind of looks now that is bland, and like grass and stuff has become very sparse now. So yeah, all depends upon your preferences, guys. If you guys want to get a lot of performance, then you guys can use lower settings and get like 70 FPS all of the times at native resolution. If you guys want to get 70 FPS with good settings and FSR, then you can get it also. So yeah, 68% CPU usage, still 70%. So we are getting very CPU bound now. Let's go ahead and apply FSR. Alrighty guys, medium settings, FSR on quality has been applied here, as you guys can see here. FSR on quality, medium settings preset. Let's go into the game. I just saw 100 FPS. So yeah, now it's gonna stay, I think, above 80 FPS most of the times. Yeah, 80, 90, 77. I also saw 77. We're getting some stutters. At higher FPS, we're getting some stutters. Now we're getting VRAM bound, guys. You guys can see that power usage there, 70 watts. I think, guys, this is a city area, so let me try to run out of this area. Maybe the CPU bottleneck issue at lower settings is happening due to that. Let's try to run out. Let's try to go back. Let's try to move out of this area. Because I remember when I was close to a lady's hut. Oh my god, it's stuttering a lot. When I was close to one lady's hut and there was a mission there, I wasn't getting CPU bound at that area. So I don't know what's happening here. Maybe close to cities it's very CPU intensive, like usually in other games. So let's go ahead, guys, and now decrease the settings further. Let's go to low settings preset, and I'll be right back after restarting. Alrighty guys, we are back, and yeah, as you guys can see right here, we are at low settings now. And yeah, you guys can see here low settings preset, and yeah, FSR is currently turned off. So let's go ahead and start moving here. You guys can see the FPS there is 100 FPS right now, 98. All of the game kind of looks weird. You guys can see there is no vegetation far from here, and vegetation pop in. View distance is very low now. So yeah, if you've got a very low end system, you guys could use these settings, but on this system, on my system, I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, so yeah, this is running really nicely, 97 FPS average, no issues whatsoever. There are some stutters which happen usually nowadays in some games. So yeah, this is still very good performance and very good optimization by the developers. Let's go ahead now and let's quickly change the settings here to FSR on quality. And yeah, as you guys can see now, 120 FPS, really nice. So FPS is still going higher. It's still alleviating some bottleneck with the CPU, like 71% of CPU usage and about 70% of GPU usage still, but we're getting more than 100 FPS most of the times. So that is really nice, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.